I had a dream last night, resting far below me, battered up.
I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV. Today we're going to do an album. I think this came out a little bit earlier, a few months ago. Josh Ritter, who I had never heard of before. Have you ever heard of Josh Ritter?
Never.
And he's just a singer-songwriter, does a lot of indie music, Americana stuff. His album this year, 2010, So Runs the World Away. I think that's a fantastic album title. I mean, I really was impressed by that album title. This is getting really good scores on Metacritic. Reviewers like this. I like this. Sounds like Tom likes this. So, I mean, there's something to be said about that. Now, to get into what we liked about it, I'm just going to come out and say I think this is some of the best songwriting I've heard all year. In a variety of instruments, but really... before I get into any detail about that, I really want to compliment this guy on how he's able to present such a variety of songs. He does indie pop tracks, Americana tracks, even some darker, more artistic tracks in there. And the way he spaced them out through the album is just perfect for a one straight through listen. And I don't think that there's a bad track on this album. There's several tracks on this album that I think are outstanding and very easy to listen to. Tom, what'd you think, man?
You pretty much hit it. I mean, there's not a lot to say. There's a variety of influences within a kind of, already determined genre, I guess. So it's not all over the place in general, but it's all over the place within this little bubble of that kind of folk, Americana, singer-songwriter sound. I mean, I get some David Gray on here. Track 7, Lock, I feel like is very much like Paul Simon, Simon and Garfunkel. Right. And yeah, I mean, like you said, there's not a bad song on this album. I think there's some that are stronger than others, but I mean, it's just really good to listen to.
Right. I think if you like Andrew Bird or even Sufjan a little bit, Bright Eyes, The Shins, this is something that you're really going to like and really should dig, or Grizzly Bear even. Yeah. If you like those bands, check this album out because I think that this will be right up your alley. I love all those bands. So I also love the production. Did you notice that?
Yeah. It's very tactful, very well done.
Yeah,
not overdone, not underdone. Right in the middle there.
I think it sounds like he recorded this literally live in an amphitheater, a Baroque, dark amphitheater. I mean, everything, the piano that he plays is real sounding, very authentic. His vocals are just slightly reverbed, and it's just so beautiful. I think it perfectly captures the essence of his sound, which is something to be said. That's what good production should always do, by the way, is capture the essence of the sound. Mm-hmm. I feel like it just does this. Now, one complaint I have, and Tom, tell me if you agree or disagree, I really feel like sometimes the vocals, he changes vocal mode sometimes depending on the song. Good versatility, but on some of the tracks he's doing kind of like what Regina Spektor does in her songs, where she's telling the story in these more story-driven vocal parts and lyrics. A lot of weight, the instruments will actually get quiet and the vocals will come out. And it's really cool because it shows great use of dynamics, but at the same time it puts a lot of weight on the vocals, and I just don't think that they're quite up to par. They're not quite catchy or hooky enough to really get me, and sometimes I think it gets a little muddled. That's just me. I'm interested to see what you think and what other people think about that.
I agree with that. I mean, to tell you the truth, it didn't jump out at me, but I can't disagree with you. I mean, I think that's a really good observation. I mean, I guess my biggest complaint and is just consistency. I mean, I think there's some clear standout tracks, and to really be an album that gets into the 90s for me, or even the upper 80s, I've got to feel like almost, if not every track jumps out at me.
Right.
And it's not quite that way here. There are some songs that are good, but just kind of here's a good song. Definitely not bad, but not good enough to push it up into that really high range. At the same time, I think I am going to give it actually a slightly higher score than what I originally thought, just because looking at this, I'm like, this is a good album.
Yeah, there's really not a bad track on this album. They're actually mostly outstanding tracks throughout of it. It's interesting that you picked Folk Bloodbath, track 6. It's a longer, kind of more experimental, Americana track.
I thought it was a good mix-up in the flow
It is
of the
a
album.
very good mix-up.
I mean, it's placed right smack dab in the center of the album, and I think it just keeps it moving well.
Yeah.
I mean, even odd to say that it's a track that's longer and slower moving keeps it moving, but it's just about that variety and the contrast, and it's just placed very well.
Tom, I feel like this is an 84 for me.
I'm going to go 82.
Nice. Well, very solid score from VIMTV. Like we said, please check this out if you're into this sort of music that we described, and give us your feedback, because I feel like this is worth the hype that it's getting this year, and from an unknown artist that I had never heard about, sounds like you had never heard about, is something really cool to find, these gems, these diamond in the rough. But tell us what you think. www.velocitiesandmusic.com, youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. Thanks for watching. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.